I sat down with Iain Murray, Vice President of Strategy at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, and he explained to me the implications of the vote and why it's important for the United Kingdom to stay together.
Well, the simple fact is that the United Kingdom has probably been the most successful political union of two different polities in history. The free movement of people and the free movement of capital that the Union has allowed over the past 300 years has led to a sum greater than the parts. The United Kingdom as a whole has achieved things that Scotland and England separately could not have, simply by connecting all the territorial waters up. That was a very great step in the first place.
There's been a lot of threats made that if the vote is yes, banks will leave, people will lose their jobs, pensions will be affected, nuclear submarines would leave. All this is coming from the United Kingdom. Of those threats, is that enough to persuade the people of Scotland to change their mind if they wanted to vote yes?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because the No campaign has hammered on these points for the past few weeks. But the way the polls have gone, it suggests that a lot of Scottish voters, especially previous don't knows, have discounted all these arguments. They regard them as scaremongering. But when you look at what the Scottish finances will be like after independence, currently the United Kingdom subsidises Scotland to the tune of 20% more than the English country is subsidised. So there's going to be a significant financial black hole. My calculations estimated about £25 billion of finances that Scotland will lose as a result of losing English subsidies.
But when they gain it back in some of the assets that they're claiming they can leverage as well, for example, the oil and gas business, I mean, that's fairly significant. A lot of people have cited that as a huge potential revenue generating source.
Well, indeed, they would certainly get some of that back from oil. By my calculations, probably only around £6 to £7 billion worth of extra revenue from the oil. And most of the petroleum geologists out there say that Scotland's oil revenues will start to dry up in the next couple of decades. So that's only going to be a temporary fix.
If it is a yes for independence, what happens in the first few hours?
Sheer blind panic, I think, is the answer to that.
On which side?
On both sides, because no one has really thought through exactly what the next steps would be after independence. You would have to have the representatives of the Scottish government, Alex Salmond's government, meeting with representatives of the United Kingdom government to try and hash out exactly what they're going to talk about, what the negotiations are going to be about, to begin with, even before they start actually negotiating the nitty-gritty.
Are the people in London prepared for a potential yes vote?
They certainly haven't been to date. I think nobody ever assumed that Scotland would possibly vote yes. The polls had been something like 60-40 in favour of unification for the past decade or so. It's only in the last couple of weeks that this has become a reality. And your gut feeling as to what you think the outcome is going to be? My gut feeling will be a very, very narrow no vote. But that means that a lot of people are going to be very upset, and things could get a little bit hairy in Scotland for a while.